Greetings, and welcome to the energy of Libra. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. The first channeled message is a matter of consequence. This occurs when a sequence of events concur or continue in terms of the linearity, consequence, and cause and effect are huge in this. It's up for Libra in the month of this would be December, in the month of December, to embrace what we've learned in Scorpio season and move into the auspices of the ninth house. This movement allows itself to define what we've learned in crisis. The deep polarities of the eighth house and the eighth sphere bring forward the dynamism of transformation with Pluto and Mars as rulers of Scorpio to move and to elevate into the ninth. When this occurs, there is movement towards Jupiter, and there is an ability for Libra to learn from the seventh house, two houses according to Bhavat Bhavam, the principle of Vedic, I believe it's Brihat Parasara Horashastra, the ability to move forward into a type of wealth or the reality of a new world. And it's in the contiguous state or the continuity of what's occurring consequentially that leads cause to effect. Okay. Generally speaking, for Libras, there will be a great deal of manifestation of wealth for this month. And money will be coming in and has been in November as well. Work and job opportunities are also available because Venus gets blessings from Saturn. However, when Jupiter explodes into the scene, this type of wealth, it emerges from parallel states within the metaverse as well as the quantum field. And you may find that often the material realm can transubstantiate itself. Everything that we hold dearly in terms of time, energy, resources can be converted subliminally through the sublime method of alchemy and the ninth house. A doorway can open, especially if you're a solar Libra. There's a capacity here for the path of the 7, 8, and 9 to emerge. And once again, the principles of Bhavat Bhavam show that your solar energy will transform, it will die, and then it will resurrect in the ninth sphere. Okay, this allows for the movement of great wealth, spiritual wealth, higher intellect that has been baptized in the transformative energies of Scorpio. And it allows for further development of the intellect. And the intellect is one of the greatest senses, according to archaic studies of antiquity, that allows for the pure resonance with consciousness, pure consciousness. This has to do with light. And if you observe the light of Jupiter, the light of Venus, there will be a lot of blessings in terms of this type of consequence. Now, if you're a spiritual seeker, it would have to do with Venus's relation to Jupiter. And you can look into the legend of Aphrodite, mythology of Aphrodite, who emerges, the birth of Venus, how she emerges. And I believe it's through the head of Zeus that this occurs. She explodes out of it. Potentially Cronus as well. No? Anyways, so we're going to look into messages. Hopefully you're still around, and if you're around, I do thank you for the likes, shares, and subscribes. I'm going through personal, major transformations, pivotal really. A great deal of grid laying has occurred for me on a personal note and a professional note. I'm going through rites of passage, and this allows for something of a lightness to the work that I've been putting towards the Order of the Twin Sun, and it allows also for suspension and for the dream to align itself to a mode of channeling that I would be comfortable with. Today, for the month of December, are we doing the Great Mirror? No, we're doing the Quantum Triangle. Am I using the Picasso deck? No, I'm using the Alieta deck. Okay. So it's a 6-card spread we're dealing with today. Before that, are we going to work with karma before? Yes, we'll work with karma before. And that should be about a 3-card spread. So a total of about 9 cards will be dealt with today. Possibly a few more for underscoring bridge sequences. But we'll work with that energy and see what comes to effect in terms of the quantum field. Now, when working with the quantum field, there's a possibility for dual modes of existence, at least 2. So your past self, your future self can co-create or conspire a sense of a reality. But this reality is multivalent. It's not just one. It's potential of 2. And this has to do with time and space, as well as space stacking up in each other, different planes of existence that can stack up on each other and create what I believe his name was Webb, termed as the multiverse. And we're not going to go too deeply into that, but basically there's a possibility for you to jump timeline to timeline using the quantum triangle. And this is a technique that has been given to the order to use in order to divine modes of ascension for, well, in this particular case, Libra. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that and do a bit of karma first. We're using the bicycle deck for that. All right, we'll get started now. Okay. The path of independence that has been provided for you since the Lion's Gate that was open in July or August of this year. It allows for the choice to be buried. This choice was inevitable, a choice that you had to make, and that choice has caused a great deal of tension. It's gained you notoriety, whatever path we're talking about. This is a path of the heart. This is a path of passion. And it moves from the 6, which is ruled by the sun, to the 7. And the 7 is also ruled by the sun. But it puts you into a defensive mode. This month, December, will be one of cooperation, but it's a trial. Something about what you've done already, what you've achieved. And there's a sense of dharma to it all. The sense that you've been there, you've done it, you've been recognized. Now it's time to stand guard and work with others. And the choice that you've already made in terms of a career or in terms of a calling was inevitable. And there's a sense here that the independence that you seek will be found. This has to do with the Page of Cups as well as the Page of Rods. Okay, So your offers, your passions, your territory is protected. There's something about you giving into the future, the Ace of Cups, you seeking out something, but it's something of like having a toy in a child's hand. And it's important to become instrumental, to practice something this month, to become not a master but a student of something, and to focus in on the energy of the sun as well as the moon. Work with sun and moon cycles, eclipses if you can find them, as well as new and full moons. There's something about the conversion of fire to water. Now, when this occurs, there is something about the Gandanta point. And Gandantas are the karmic knots that bind the Vedic astrology, the sidereal zodiac. And these karma points are very rare. But because of this transmutation of water and fire, fire and water, there's something about you that has to protect the path. Follow your heart. Go to where that leads. Okay. I think deep down you're seeking authenticity. There's also a choice to be made, a choice revised. Now, if you're working with a form of revision, of trying to recalibrate or rework something, your path is assured, and it's moving towards the 9. The 9 is basically, let's see here. The 9 has to do with clarity of mind, clarity of spirit, and the ability to bring forward near completion, something that has been a burden in terms of the ambition or the drive. Even the quest for deep spiritual undertones is a form of ambition. Be careful. Your sense of ego, especially when it comes to this transmutation of earth and fire and water, is going to amount to an experience. What I see here is an experience during a time of war, an experience of during the time of war. And if you have past lives that deal with that, there's something about that that can be an echo for this time period. Now, God forbid you're in Gaza or you're in Ukraine, but if those are, what that means is that in a time of conflict, there's an ability for sacrifice, as well as an ability for further development of something that would be beyond, because war can also indicate a very deep spiritual clause, a cause and effect in terms of consequence that leads to something else. And usually it's development of deep spiritual understandings, okay? There's a reason for war. There's a reason for trying to define yourself in terms of ambition or a claim towards something of recognition. But you will find that as soon as you cross the gateway, this is through experience, as soon as you cross the gateway, another gateway will open. And that's why there's this sense of contiguity as well as consequence, contiguousness. So, thank you for letting me channel in terms of karma. Now we are going to the second part of our reading, which is not about the Great Mirror. We're not going to look at anyone else but you in this reading. I don't think we need to. So once again, it's a 6-card spread. And it's designed to actually bring the quantum field to generate a sense of ascension. And this ascension is not necessary, but it allows for a gateway of some sort. This gateway is something that you can travel to and from to meet a version of yourself, possibly, to meet a guide. And this guide will allow you to grow, to evolve, to do something in terms of your own evolution, if you want to call it that. We're working with this deck in particular, the Alieta deck. This is a 130-year-old deck, and we're gonna go to get started now. I think it's nine shuffles. Whoa, crazy. Okay. So is this ready? Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have here La Temperance, which translates to temperance. Temperance is the ability to, according to Jupiter, okay, the 9th, and the movement of the 10th, there's an ability to use the intellect to convert and to alchemize, to transmute, to transubstantiate something. You have the ability to liquefy something in terms of assets, goals, ambitions, values. And this liquefaction allows for a type of osmosis for Libras this month. I'm telling you. So when Sagittarius Sun crosses over into the sky, there's a possibility of complete diminution, complete release of the binding element of expectations, even time and space, as material planes can be transmuted, can be changed miraculously, I'm telling you, this month. And there's an ability for the intellect to rise into consciousness and to balance these things out, to find a sense of empowerment, to put your foot in the right place when it comes to producing a sense of empowerment or sovereignty, authority, okay? While still being bound to terra firma, while still, celebrating the idea of an earth or a new earth, there's an ability for you to transmute your expectations, to transmute, to transubstantiate yourself. Fortune is coming, and the path. This speaks about becoming pure, a path of purification. And there's also a very sincere kind of joy about what you're doing. When Jupiter comes and explodes, it is pure joy. It's pure knowing. Jupiter knows all. Jupiter is wise. And wisdom is the ability to not judge. Wisdom is also the ability to truly know without really having to try to know. And that's where truth comes in as well. Now, your path of ascension here has to do with purification. This is purification of the mind from water to earth, or water to air, rather. Two of Swords, Two of Cups, in reverse. It means that what you're going to realize in this month is the nonsense that you don't have to invest in. This is like seeing beyond it, seeing beyond the materiality, seeing beyond the veil, piercing the veil, and going beyond it. There also is a possibility here of deep purification of the mind. Once again, Two of Swords in the upright means that there's a new moon or an eclipse, and there's someone bound up, blind, and there are two minds that cross. Okay, this crossing creates conflict. This conflict is letting itself loose through the element, or through the word foe. So foe desires come about. That's what it's saying here, if you can see that. Foe desires, or desire and foe. Two of Swords and Two of Cups in the reverse. This allows you to cut out nonsense, to use truth, the edge of truth, to cut out nonsense, especially desires that are merely that, just that, desire. And desires can be a big setback when it comes to ascension. There is a knowing that comes here in the element of purification of the mind. A singularity emerges out of this, and it has to do with the element of water and air. Now, when water and air combine, there's a possibility of effervescence, a bubbly quality about you. But these bubbles, they don't ascend, they descend. They go downward, which is very interesting. Okay, Justice in reverse in the past. The 9 plus Sagittarius. We have also La Ville, the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. And Justice in reverse. And this is in the past. Now, when it comes to balancing out karma in the past, the sequence is done. It's done because the karma went the wrong way. There's something about an injustice that has left an impression. This has to do with a very deep sense of community, something that happened in the community or the family or the workplace or some very important relationship. The karma is done when it comes to that. Generally speaking, though, you don't have to worry about it. Usually, this need for Libra to go out and become the karmic equalizer, to do something in terms of that, to produce an effect of good karma, of good flow. The call to that is almost overbearing, to the point where Libra is constantly out of balance until those around Libra are balanced, especially family or especially some deep connection. But the karma is finished. When justice turns over, it becomes logistic, or it becomes litigious. Okay, it has to do with the fine print. It has to do with what was written. And this idea of what is written in terms of like an old way of saying things, an idiom. It is written that this would happen. It is written in the sand, it is written in the stars, all of this. There's an element of fate when it comes to family or some sort of deep connection in the past that has taught you a lesson. And it's kind of befuddling because you seek out to justify that, especially when it comes to family curses or karmic relationships. There's something about you that moves beyond that, and there's an element of purification this month. What is it moving towards, Meltzer? Conversion. We have conversion here of earth, of what we would deify in terms of the material realm, like the worship of money, the investment of money. We have here also the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is very interesting here. It's also the Magician slash Hierophant. So Mercury and Venus in this particular deck is ruled by this Hierophant or Magician. And the Hierophant controls the element of fire to convert water. Once again, fire to water. There's something here about the conversion of fire to water, that the karmic knot that you place in your resources. I see here donations. I see here sacrifice of some sort. This has to do with giving quite a bit in terms of your own resources, in terms of your own money, in terms of what you own, what you bring to the table, that will actually loosen up something. Now, if you have anything that is still valuable that could be donated, do so. Try to give towards Seva benefits or places that could use that in order to help other people out. There's something about sacrifice here that is very deep. And it has to do with Venus being turned upside down, and also Venus being celebrated by reinvesting into the magician's energy, third house. Okay, so this talks about giving away to friends, giving away to brothers or sisters, giving away to a community, in order to produce a great magical effect in which you would invest in yourself, in a voice, in a way of handling things that would actually empower you, give you control over the elements, big time. And this is the path of ascension. So the thing is that you wouldn't want to have desires without being like artificial or feeling artificial. You wouldn't want to bring the law into a city or into a family situation or into a relationship. You wouldn't want to do that. The law is taking care of itself. The scales have been tipped, and the scales are naturally realigning to themselves. And there's this sense that the more you give, the more you get. And that's the whole great sort of push with this quantum reading, the gist of it. Now, underscoring all of this is, once again, La Temperance. There's an ability to take expectations, especially love, and to convert that love, to transform it into something else, So pain can be converted into wealth, into love, and love can be converted into something else. There's something about the 9th to the 10th house, 7, 8, 9, 10, that is very important, and it activates your first, second, third, and fourth houses up to the fourth house. So what I see here is a way to construct your inner world that allows for a path of ascension in which you can be very clear about what you desire and what you truly love. And you might find that a lot of things that you love are actually just petty desires that can be saturated or converted. And the more you give, the more you create something in terms of the divine gateway of Gemini and the pillars of Hercules. What can be birthed out of there? What can be sort of brought into the transatlantic ocean? In terms of advice, the thing is that there's a lot of flack that you're going to be getting, that you've already gotten, for choosing what it is that you want to do. You may be observed by others, shunned by them communally, but that shouldn't matter at all. Yeah, I don't think it does matter. There's something about a sense of newness in being attentive to a type of double grounding, to binding, double binding. There is a sense that you can transform into newness. Something that has been a gift and it's been under your feet for quite some time. That's the very best I can do for Libra. I do wish you well. Hopefully this has resonated for some of you. And yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.